Hello. My name is Adam Burt, and you are watching the Etch Play Weekly Live Show. And I'm joined by Ben Joy. Hello, Ben.
Hey Adam, how you doing?
I'm good. It's Thursday. It's 4 p.m. Where's the time go?
Who knows? It's flying, absolutely flying.
Another busy week in the world of games. We've got some news for you, and stick around because later on you get to watch me play Mario Party for some very suspicious hand actions that should not be on the internet. And later on, Dan's coming to join the show, and so is Alex from Gamedev Heroes. We're going to be talking about Gamedev Heroes. Makes sense. And
Yep.
they've been announcing their winners this week. Great award show, lots of very worthy winners. So we'll be talking about that. Let's dive straight into the news then. It's 1 month to go until new consoles. Less than a month to go until new consoles, Ben.
It is, and we won't be getting one. You couldn't get one, so
I mean, some people are getting one in 1 month. Not me and not you, because we couldn't
yeah,
secure
not us.
pre-orders of the ones we
couldn't
wanted.
get them. We tried. We did try.
But yeah, no, it's still an exciting time for the industry. Obviously, this quarter is the biggest financially for the games industry. Typically, a lot of big games tend to launch in the run-up to the Christmas period, and new consoles make that an even more exciting time than it currently is. Been a bit of news out of both camps this last week. I want to start with Sony because they've released a video today. Before we get on to that, some groundwork. PlayStation 4 had an update yesterday, but it's caused some issues for people. And the reason I put this first is because I think this ties into the stuff they've just announced today. So as of yesterday's update, I think it's mostly now fixed, but friends list were not loading, issues creating and joining parties were frequent, and some people even reported stability problems like crashes. Elsewhere, people were upset on Twitter that voice chats, private voice chats, are recorded now. I mean, I'm not sure you ever should have been that confident that Sony wasn't recording them. I feel like they probably were before they told you.
Yeah, they probably just said now they're doing it. They've done it all along. And shock
Yeah,
horror that Twitter got upset, but you
I
know,
think there's a thousand things in your home recording you right now. We gave up privacy a long time ago. So yeah, there's that. People are mad about that, and this is the thing that links directly into the PlayStation 5 video they released today. So parties are now more of a thing. You have to create an actual group to start a party now. You give them a name. They're like a permanent thing. So you create a group and then you voice chat with that group rather than the party being a throwaway one-off thing that you'd spin up on the fly. Some people are upset about that because it's an extra step when you're creating a party, at least on the PlayStation 4 interface it is. And plus, some people used to use a private party just to kind of opt out of in-game voice chats. All of that anger, though, seems to have subsided because PlayStation 5, we've been waiting for a long time to see the UI of the PlayStation 5, and today we finally got our first glimpse of this. Have you watched this video?
I have. Yes, I watched it not long ago. I mean, it didn't come out long ago, so
Yeah, it came out just
yeah,
before the show,
I
basically.
like it. Yeah.
If you've not seen it, don't watch it yet because you're watching us. But after the show, maybe go and check this out. It's on Sony's official blog, and other people have picked it up as well, obviously. The UI is really interesting, and parties is a big aspect of that. So they've kind of encouraged, I guess, this group mentality around parties. So a party is no longer just a voice chat. It's a place to share screenshots. It's a place to, compare scores and that kind of stuff, and do all sorts of things with this specific permanent group of friends rather than just a one-off. But the stuff that's got people most excited about the UI is the cards that they're introducing to the control center when you press the PlayStation button. So this is basically allowing or creating what you might call deep entry points into the game. So you have a game, you load it up, and you have to pick. You pick a mission, or you pick multiplayer, you pick a level, and then you start playing it. The intent with these cards is that there'll be ways for you to jump straight into the action. So from the UI, be able to jump straight into a mission, or even a specific part of a mission in some cases. Does this appeal to you?
Yeah, I liked it. I've never really been a PlayStation guy. As you know, I was trying to pre-order the Xbox, but I really liked it. The thing I liked with the cards as well, for like someone who's not very good at games like I am, like one of the features, like some of the games will have like help videos and like little help tips that you can watch, and you can do those picture in picture. I feel like that's a real nice touch because there's typical when you get stuck, like a lot of people will just dive on the internet, like watch a YouTube video. I don't know if people still go to super cheats to get the walkthroughs. Is that
Game
still a
Facts.
thing?
Not for me. Game Facts is the one. I think it's.
I was a super cheats guy when I was a kid, getting all the cheats for the Nintendo 64 and super cheats.
Why am I not surprised that you're a cheater?
I don't know.
The
But yeah, I
picture-in-picture
really
mode.
like that feature. It's cool.
Yeah, the picture-in-picture mode is not just used for game help videos, as Ben mentioned there, but you also can watch streams of people in your party. So, if someone else in your party is playing a game and you're chatting to them, you can like put them in a little corner in your feed basically, and you can watch them while you're playing. Not sure how often I do that, but I could imagine a few times when I would have wanted to do that maybe when you're playing something quite casual and want to watch what your friend's doing as well. Yeah, interesting and
Cool.
nice to finally see it. I mean, less than a month out from release for them to finally show this off.
At least it looks good. Imagine
looks
everyone
good.
pre-ordered it and they were like, "This looks trash," but no, it's good.
No, it does look good. It looks clean. It looks nice. They've clearly put a lot of thought into aspects of how that's going to work, and yeah, I think people are going to be really really pleased with it. Speaking of crowd pleasers and staying with Sony, they've confirmed that almost all quote marks PlayStation 4 games will work on PlayStation 5. So this was another big question. Until recently wasn't answered what the backwards compatibility is like on the PlayStation 5. I do have a list of the games which are... Ooh, okay.
Please say that are not, because it's, as you said,
that
nearly all of them are. Here's a list of
read
every
all of them.
PS4 game that's going to work. Starting at 8.
Apparently I'm coming through quite quietly. I apologise for that. I'll try and turn the gain up a little bit and see if that makes it any better. Might make it worse. See how we get on with that. Games that are excluded include Afro Samurai 2, Shadow Complex Remastered, We Sing, for any karaoke fans, and Hitman Go Definitive Edition. Some of these developers who were initially on this list, including DWVR and TT Isle of Man, Ride on the Edge 2, have already announced. So they were on the list, and then they announced, we're going to patch that. We're going to do an update so it will work. So it sounds like basically everything that you own will work.
Nice.
Sony does warn though, and I think this is just covering their ass in the event that something hasn't been fully tested. Some PlayStation 4 games may exhibit errors or unexpected behaviour when played on PlayStation 5 consoles. No specifics are provided, but it does encourage you to see if you're happy with the play experience, that's the words they use, of a PlayStation 4 game on PS5 before buying any DLC. So test your games, make sure you like them before you buy more stuff for them.
Yeah, I think that's just... It's going to be more and more expected now, especially if you're wanting to keep brand loyalists, like who've been through the generations. And I think, backwards compatibility, you just kind of expect it. And if you want people to stay with you, then do it. Like, if you're not going to backport your games, then you're opening up someone's barrier to go and buy an Xbox instead of a PlayStation, or a PlayStation instead of an Xbox. If it's like, oh well, all my games don't work, I'm starting from scratch anyway. So I think, sensible. And if you don't do that, it seems like a bad move.
Also, as part of this blog post, they announced that select PlayStation 4 titles will see increased loading speeds on the PlayStation 5 console, and will also leverage Game Boost, offering improved or more stable frame rates. This is intriguing because this is maybe kind of at odds with what Microsoft are saying, which is that everything on Xbox Series X is going to run better. Sony going out of their way there to kind of say there's only some titles we're going to actually put, we're going to benefit from playing on the PlayStation 5. They do say, though, that some titles outside of that, any that have unlocked frame rates or dynamic resolution up to 4K, may see higher fidelity, which you would expect. And PlayStation 4 games can take advantage of some of those UX features that we've talked about. So some of the card stuff, in theory, you could patch that into PlayStation 4 games or see those on the dashboard in the same way. Across the pond then, in Xbox camp, a couple of things to say about them. Xbox Series Quick Resumes. This is a feature we talked about in a previous episode, actually. This idea of suspending games and coming back to them. And I think at the time, I was like, I don't really do that. I would never, jump around between 3 games or whatever. And evidently that's a criticism a lot of people have said. They're like, what's the point of this feature? So they've clarified that actually they see it as kind of a more all-encompassing thing than that. And some people on Twitter have confirmed that Quick Resume works even after powering off. So even if you take the power out of the console completely, if you have a saved state for a game, you can jump straight back into it. So that makes it sound, more appealing. It's less like jumping around between different games, and it's more like, well, I'm playing this one game today and maybe another game at the weekend. I can save them both and jump straight back into them rather than having to load them all again from fresh, even though the load times are reduced. It's not as quick as doing a quick resume.
Yeah, it definitely feels a better feature now, like a more useful one. Like it was a nice feature before, but as you say, yeah, people kind of like, what's the point? You've done it for the sake of. But now it sounds a lot more appealing.
Yeah, definitely. A couple of sad stories this week. As a result of CNET Media Group being bought by Red Ventures, this was from Viacom CBS for $500 million. This is the media group that includes popular game-based websites such as GameSpot, and they're the ones in the firing line here. They've had some layoffs, at least a few we've heard about. GameSpot staff have been laid off, unfortunately. And it's not entirely clear the scope of those layoffs yet, other than we know it's several people. So sending all our best to the GameSpot staff and hoping that they find gainful employment elsewhere soon. Also, in sad news, definitely sad if you're a fan of Crucible, because Amazon have officially announced that Crucible is cancelled. The exact quote from the company working on the game on Amazon's behalf was, "We didn't see a healthy, sustainable future ahead for Crucible." So to give you some context, this game launched kind of in beta. And
5 months ago, wasn't it? It wasn't long ago.
It was about in May, yeah. In May it came out, and negative reviews kind of across the board, wasn't very popular. They acknowledged that. They made it closed beta, so they said you can still play, but we're going to be working on this. We're not comfortable charging for it. Obviously, people aren't happy with it. So they've now gone one step further and said, we've been evaluating this and trying to make it work, but it just doesn't, so the game's cancelled. They are offering refunds. The team are being moved to other projects, so they're all still employed, which is good. They wrote, "This has been a labour of love, and we're grateful for the time we got to spend on Planet Crucible with you."
Shame if you were a fan of the game. I've never played it,
play Crucible?
so
no
strong
like,
feelings about it.
You ask 10 people on the street whether they play Crucible, the answer would be no. So it's an interesting arena that they're playing in there, where you're looking at, you look at Fortnite, you look at Siege, you look at Valorant and things like that, and Hyperscape. You really need to kind of hit the ground running with that kind of game. Like, they're banking on a big splash. They're banking on all the streamers playing it. They're banking on big numbers early doors. And I guess if you don't see that, we talked recently on the show about late bloomers and turning games around. But when games rely on big communities like that and they don't find them early doors, it can be very difficult to keep the doors open. The chat is having a debate about dogs versus cats. Just to clarify, I'm a dog person. Are you a dog person?
I am also a dog person. Team dog. Definitely dogs.
Team dogs for the win. Some good news for you then. Depending on how much stock you put in rumours. In an interview with Japanese...
A lot.
You love rumours?
That's how I live my life.
It's your favourite Fleetwood Mac album.
Yeah.
In an interview with Japanese magazine Famitsu, Sega's chief of mini devices, like the mini consoles that are coming out recently, the kind of retro nostalgia consoles. Chief of that division, Yosuke Okanari, discussed what's next for the company's mini range. This is Sega, having already released a Mega Drive in 2019 and the Game Gear Micro, which is only in Japan so far. He said, "I think for the next one we may have to go to a concept close to the Mega Drive Mini. If I have to say some names, it could be an SG-1000 Mini or a Dreamcast Mini." And for anyone who's not aware, the SG-1000 is an extremely unpopular console, which is definitely not going to get remade, and everyone's just thinking they're going to do a Dreamcast Mini.
Dreamcast.
Big Dreamcast. If you're a big Dreamcast fan, this is good news for you. You a Dreamcast fan?
I wouldn't say I'm a Dreamcast fan. I've played a Dreamcast.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would. It's cool. These things are like you said, they're nostalgia hits. They're not. They're not. Hopefully, big investments. It's just like, I'm a nostalgic gamer. Like, I constantly said, like, one of my favorite things to play is on the Nintendo 64. So it's always cool when you can go back and have that nostalgia hit. So if that is true, then I'm sure there'll be a lot of happy Sega fans, depending how many they make, and if you can get your hands on them, then it should be a bit of fun.
Yeah, I think the Dreamcast had possibly the strongest launch lineup of all time. Had really good games straight out of the gate, and very sad that it didn't make it. if you're listening, Sega, the one game you have to put on there is definitely Jet Set Radio. Everything else is optional. Lots of good games to choose from there. They've got a wealth of Dreamcast games that they could consider. Some news from Rockstar, who have been on stealth mode in a sense. I mean, they've been announcing GTA ports for every console under the sun. But obviously they're also...
Is that going to be on the Dreamcast Mini?
Probably. Dreamcast Mini, Grand Theft Auto, it's a match made in heaven. But Rockstar are clearly making some moves and starting to maybe gear up for another big game in the near future. They've bought Ruffian Games out of Scotland, and they've rebranded them as Rockstar Dundee, which is the city where where Ruffian are based. Ruffian are the creators of Crackdown 2, and assisted on a few Kinect games, including Kinect Star Wars, and they've recently actually been assisting on the Master Chief Collection, so quite strong ties with Microsoft as a studio. But this brings Rockstar to a total of 10 studios worldwide, making them fairly large, even in the context of AAA games. And yeah, speculate away.
Speaking of rumours, rumour is that Sam Houser did drive up there to Dundee in his bare feet to finalise the deal as well.
Oh, did he? I hadn't heard that.
That is an Alan Partridge reference that I didn't think you would get, but I went for it anyway.
What have I told you about referencing things on the show when I'm not being pre-warned?
I can't help it. It's 50% of what comes out of my mouth. Partridge references.
Okay. Well, let's speculate about GTA, because that's what everyone's thinking. Everyone's thinking this is them, building the army they need to deliver the Grand Theft Auto for the next generation. When do you think we'll see a new GTA?
2032.
Well, okay. I thought you'd at least go 20-something.
No,
it's milk GTA,
it's going to be
current GTA for GTA 5 for as long as possible.
Yeah. When will we see a new GTA? Realistic answer, what are we now, 2020? Maybe 2024?
Wow, okay, so you think there's quite a long time.
I think so, yeah. Because there's just been nothing about it. I might be wrong, but it doesn't feel like it's coming anytime soon.
Yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see, and hopefully we'll start to hear some more rumours along those lines now that they're probably starting to work on it. So congratulations to Rockstar on your new purchase, and congratulations to everyone at Ruffian for joining the Rockstar family. Or rejoining the Rockstar family in some of those cases. I'm pretty sure some Ruffians were ex-Rockstar in the first place, unable to leave. You try and quit, and then they just buy the company you go to. That brings us to the end of the news. We're going to throw to a pre-recorded segment. This is Super Mario Party on the Switch, and when I come back, I'll be joined by Dan Thomas and Alex from Gamedev Heroes. We're going to be talking about Gamedev Heroes and all the great work they've been doing this year. So stay tuned, and we will see you again in about 12 minutes. Hello and welcome to Super Mario Party. Are you ready to party? I am not ready to party, but I will be once I picked a character here. This is Super Mario Party on the Nintendo Switch. Who should we be? I like being Boo. Play against these guys. Thanks, Toad. If you've never played this before, it is a game all about not really about partying at all. It's about board games. There's various modes here. I don't want to do that one though. What do I want to do? Maybe survival. Let's start with this. Most of the game is presented like a board game. You roll dice to move around the board, and every time everyone's taken one turn, you do some sort of mini game, usually using the Joy-Con. I have a Joy-Con here. We're going to try Soundstage, just show off some of the mini game potential. Oh, apparently I've got to stand up. Do I actually have to stand up? I'm not sure I have to stand up. Let's see if I can do it sitting down. Joy-Con, vertical. I should, I've never done this mode before in my life, so if I do this badly, that's why. Are you ready, Boo? Yeah, I am.
Ready?
Yeah. I believe, and presume I'm going to get straight into some mini games here. I will show you the board game aspect after this. I can feel the beat in the Joy-Con. I'm rubbish at this. How do you do it? Oh, I got one. I got one. Slam the molds. Sounds easy enough. I'm rubbish at this. Why can I not hit a ball in time for the beat? What's wrong with me? Oh. Awful. Am I doing it right? I don't think I'm doing it right. Oh, boo. I'm doing it in reverse. Awful. Absolutely awful. Bye. That was not my forte. Full tablecloth. I have no idea what I'm doing. Hey! Oh, oh no! Oh, come on. Yeah! Oh, God. That's the end of our show, I think. And I don't think I've won. Luigi! Well, nice for him to get a break.
Congratulations.
Okay. And I was bad at that. 4th place. Oh, normal or remix? I don't know! I want to go back. I want to do something else. No, it's going again. I'm trapped here forever. Okay, skewer the fruit. I'm ready. Ah, come on. Yes. Okay, I'm getting the hang of this one, I think. Oh, come on, stab, stab! I'm stabbing! Why are you not stabbing? Hey! Ah, oh, nearly. As you can see, it is a party. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, up. Hey! Now this is some classic Mario fare. Get the coins. Get it. Get it. What do you mean late? I'm getting the block. Okay, now I'm wiping windows. Obviously, usually you wouldn't be a madman sitting alone in your room doing this. You would be playing with friends. Preferably 3 of them. Then at least when you get embarrassed, you're losing to actual humans rather than these computer players. Did I win that one? I think I might have won that one. What do you mean faster? Oh. I've got no chance. Oh, I'm doing the same thing again, but faster on all counts, am I? I don't remember how to do this one. Give me the coins. Oh, I missed one. No! No. Probably still not me. But I tried. I did better that time, I think. Yes!
Congratulations.
You take a bow. Okay. I'm going to call this video here, but I will do another one. So stay tuned in the future for part 2, where I show off the board game mode. This is Super Mario Party, Nintendo Switch, available now. Get it and enjoy. And I'll see you again with the same game very soon. Hey, we are back. Apparently my microphone's quite low. I apologise for the level of my audio. I don't want to try and fix it mid-stream, so I'm just going to talk slightly louder. And I'm joined now by Dan Thomas.
Hello.
And Alex from Gamedev Heroes. Hey, Alex.
Hello. How's it going?
Good. Thank you for joining us on the show. For those of you at home who may not be aware of what Gamedev Heroes is, first of all, shame on you. But second, Gamedev Heroes is an awards ceremony, an annual ceremony that celebrates the people behind the games industry. So it celebrates designers, developers, QA, support staff, production, everything that goes into making games that we know and love. The people behind them really celebrates them. And obviously, historically and usually, it's an in-person ceremony. You know, people would go to the same big room and give out the awards in person. This year they couldn't do that, so they did a virtual ceremony. If you've not checked it out yet, after the show, go and check out twitter.com/GameDevHeroes and check out all the winners in video form. Alex is the host of the show, and he's done a very good job. Well done, Alex.
Thanks. Do my best.
Yeah, and he joins us here to talk about the show. We want to basically quiz him about Gamedev Heroes. Dan, you're a big Gamedev Heroes fan. You've attended before. How do you think this year's event has compared?
I think Alex and the Gamedev Heroes team have done a phenomenal job. It is, as we all know, a wacky world we're living in. And as you mentioned, Gamedev Heroes historically is a real-world event where you actually get to see other humans, which is a unusual treat in this day and age. And I think it's normally held around the same time as Develop, which is a big industry conference that happens down in Brighton. So there's already a good bunch of people and a good atmosphere. And then the Gamedev Heroes Awards is just such a good event. And as most people will probably aware, Develop got postponed and then postponed again. And now that's being a digital event. So yeah, kind of to be in this situation and to pull together a digital event that's gone as well as it has, I think is excellent. So yeah, well done, Alex. Do you want to tell us a bit about how this has come about?
Yeah, well, in terms of Gamedev Heroes, yeah, I mean, this was an idea that was sort of rattling around my brain about 4 years ago, where I sort of work across a lot of industry events and a lot of trade initiatives and projects, and even though there are lots of really good award ceremonies, they tend to recognize a game or a company. So when you're at that event, you've normally got the CEO going up on stage to accept the award on behalf of hundreds of people across different disciplines. And I always thought, well, it would be great if there was like a people awards, where we just recognize some people that are really good at what they do, but also just really good people as well, because sometimes that's all you need to make your day great, where you're working next to someone who's just a really amazing, human being. So that's when we came up with the idea for Gamedev Heroes, which would, put the spotlight on unsung talent, but would also put the spotlight on just your really awesome colleague. And yeah, if Dan can remember, the first year was very much a fringe event for Develop Conference, and we were in a pub well, in a room above a pub on probably one of the hottest days of the year. And an hour before the event started, I said, "Oh, can we open some windows? Can we get some aircon on?" And the reply was, "Well, the aircon doesn't work, and I'll get a bloke to get up to see if we can open those windows, which haven't been opened since 2010." So it was a very sort of steamy affair. Gamedev Heroes year one.
Intimate, I think it was fair to say, but it was nice.
Yeah, it was nice, and the main takeaway was it was a nice wholesome event where people were really okay just to sort of persevere through the searing heat and just recognize and applaud their peers and people that are in the industry that are great. So the next year was an extension of that, just a slightly bigger venue, but it still had the same kind of love in the room, and we just managed to select a really good roster of finalists, and we always have one eye on the balance as well, making sure that the finalists there's a good balance of diversity and male and female finalists and all colours and creeds and everything. So we just make sure that it's just open to everyone, and I think that was the only advantage of making it digital this year, in that most finalists could have been from anywhere because they didn't have to make the trip to Brighton to actually physically accept the award. So we thought, well, at least that's a nice thing, that we know that the winners, wherever they are, they're going to be able to accept the award in a digital fashion. So yeah, it was a shame that this year has come with so many different changes and uncertainty, but we wanted to make sure that the winners got their recognition, got their moment in the sun, so to speak. So yeah, this was the best kind of scenario we were going with, and thankfully, had to have partners like yourselves, Creative Assembly, No Breaks, and EPOS to sort of, get involved on this more tweaked kind of slimmer version was great. So yeah, couldn't be happier, really.
Yeah. And obviously, so this year was all video. All those videos, they're kind of on YouTube and on Twitter. You can watch them all. You're in the videos. You do a very good job. Was it challenging trying to get people to? I know people submitted acceptance speeches basically remotely, and they've been really interesting seeing into people's homes and how they record themselves. Has that been challenging to collect those?
Yeah, it was. I mean, again, another thing with the winners of Gamedev Heroes, they don't tend to be the most extrovert, out there people because they've been nominated by their colleagues or friends even. So it's a different kind of has a different kind of personality than the BAFTAs. So obviously we were ready for some of them to go, you know what, I'm not comfortable filming myself saying thanks, but luckily the majority were okay to do it, and then the others, we just made sure that there was a nice placeholder and some text. But yeah, I mean, the whole turnaround was in a week or so, because we didn't want to send the trophies out too early that they just couldn't hold it any longer and had to tell their friends. But not so late where we're announcing the winners and they're like, well, where's my trophy? I don't have a trophy. So it was a bit of a logistical, kind of plan that we're not used to, with getting the trophies out to everyone in the post. So yeah, thankfully it's been enough, and we thought, well, let's spread it across 3 days and just have 4 awards a day. So at least no one's having to sit there for a good 90 minutes at a screen watching it, because as you've seen with digital events, the fatigue can sort of sink in quite quickly now.
Yeah, and a great crop of winners this year. I think everyone's, at least from the sentiment I've seen on Twitter, everyone seems really happy with the winners. Lots of celebrations, lots of love for the winners in all their various disciplines.
I think it's really interesting. You kind of touched on this before, Alex. It's not just about best game or technical improvement. It is actually about the people and the roles. And so I was going to do this. Do you want to rattle through the categories and the winners? Just kind of share some of the variety of.
Right. I brought it with me.
He's prepared.
So in no particular order. So the winner for programming was Laura DeMay from Us Two. Design winner. Let's have a break for applause. Yeah. So,
rapturous round of applause.
Design category. The winner was Fauzi Mesmar, who was head of design at EA Dice. The winner for writing and narrative design was Olivia Wood of Fail Better Games. I think Fail Better have pretty much taken over maybe 3 Game Dev Heroes awards now, so something's good at that company.
Something in the
Art
water.
and animation was Lukia Kuliakadu from Roll7. Well done. Jade Liam Charaskal. Sorry I thought I would have gotten away with it this year, because every year I'm on stage reading up the finest names, and some of them have got the kind of names where you're just like, I don't know, I'll give it a go. I thought I got away with it this year, guys. Thanks very much. So Jade, she won the sound category, and she's sound. Well, she's freelance, I think, Jade. So she's just brilliant, and all the winners and finalists from the sound category got themselves an EPOS headset, a GPS 600, if I believe so, GSP 600. Production was Sally Morgan Moore, producer for No Breaks Games. Well done, Sally. Now QA, which is a category that a lot of people appreciate, actually, because I think it's amazing that you've got a QA category. So we're always thrilled to have this category. So that was Holly Gordon, senior QA tester at Rocksteady.
That really is the unsung heroes, isn't it? QA, they don't get a look in, and it is such a pivotal role. And it is really good to see it getting recognised.
Yeah, it is brilliant. It is great. Well, I mean, the Marketing and Community Award, which you guys partnered with this year, and it's no surprise, really. I mean, it's Oliver Hindle, who's now community director or something at Mediatonic. He's recently got himself a promotion, but yeah, well deserved for Oliver, age 24. The leadership trophy went to Richard Simmons, who's technical director at Rare. Congrats, Richard. Progression advocate was Marina Diaz, who's creative director at 3 of Cups. And Unsung Hero, Unsung Hero is always a difficult one, because that can transcend anything. You know, you could be office manager, you could be a receptionist. It really doesn't matter. It's just the types of nominations that we read, that we have to try and cherry pick to 12 people. So the winner for Unsung Hero was Ian Hamilton, who's an accessibility specialist and has done great things for Xbox and for accessibility as a general topic to be sort of considering in the games industry. And then last but not least was Craig Duncan. He won the Outstanding Contribution Award for Rare, and Craig is an extremely modest chap, so I had to call him up to let him know, and it was he was getting a tattoo done. And it was the most surreal phone call I've ever had, where I had to tell him, between the pain, that he's, won the Outstanding Contribution Award, and Craig is a very modest person, so I don't think he knew how to react, because he was kind of like, oh, thanks, because he's just that kind of person. It's like, that, please, just I it's me and Rare. It's not just me taking all the credit.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he's a well deserved winner for this year. So yeah, that's our Gamedev Heroes 2020.
And what was his tattoo of? Did you ask?
It was Gamedev Heroes winner 2020 across his chest.
You should definitely go back next week and get that done. I think he's a Liverpool fan, if I'm not mistaken, so maybe something related to that. I don't know. We should tweet him and ask him, actually, just out of interest.
Get that on there.
Maybe don't ask him to take a picture of it, just in case it's somewhere.
Yeah.
That just lends more embarrassment. Yeah, it's like. But no, it was good.
Yeah, congratulations to all those winners and indeed all the nominees. You can find the full list at gamedevheroes.co, or like I say, Twitter is a great Twitter account you can scroll through and just feel the dopamine of people being celebrated and watch their acceptance speeches, which is a lot of fun to do. I know it's early doors, Alex, but have you got any ideas about 2021? It's going to happen again, hopefully?
Well, I think there's so much uncertainty, isn't there, just in terms of events. I mean, I was supposed to be going for a pub lunch in Essex this weekend, and now I can't. So I think we obviously will be doing something next year, and this week's gone well. So if anything, if we find that there isn't a developed conference that we can join to do it, or if we don't think it's worth having as a standalone event, then yeah, we will be back next year, either a digital or physical, or possibly a hybrid of both. But you know, we're growing, and you know, it gets a lot of interest every year. So, you know, fingers crossed we can do something for 2021.
Yeah, that sounds great. Anything else you'd like to ask, Dan, or shall we wrap things up there?
No, I'd be curious to know, Alex, like, any lessons learned from this transition to online events. And I do think Gamedev Heroes has done something a bit different, and I've seen some other awards, and I think the format you've chosen was really good and made it nice and digestible, and people can interact with it at their own pace. But any lessons that you've learned, or any challenges that you thought, oh, that was easier than I expected, harder than I expected? Or, yeah, anything you want to share on that front?
I'd like to say that it's been an absolute nightmare, but no, it's actually been really good, and I think we're just very thankful that enough people appreciate Gamedev Heroes enough to sort of get their phone out and record a thank you speech, and we managed to get enough in. We had a flurry of videos from Rare, because like I said, I only called Craig last week just to let him know. So everyone was able to mobilize quickly, which was great. So. But I think, yeah, in hindsight, yeah, maybe just a little bit more forward planning would be good. But no, I think all things considered, it went really well. So yeah, no complaints from behind the scenes. I think everyone's happy that we managed to deliver it, because at one point it was like, well, you know, what do we do? There's no development anymore, and you know, we've got other things happening in our lives, but you know, we couldn't just sort of, you know, sit on that list of nominations and just not do anything with it, because you know, we had so many people we wanted to, you know, recognize this year. So yeah, it's been great.
Very cool. One last quick question. You mentioned your other specialist subject, 90s indie bands. Do you want to hit us with your favorite 90s indie band?
See, so it's a really good thing you should mention that, actually, because today is the 30th year anniversary of the release of a band of the album Nowhere by a band called Ride, who are actually still going. They broke up, but they got back together and did a couple more albums. But Nowhere is their classic belter, amazing album. Go and listen to it on Spotify right now. And yeah, that's my 90s indie bit of trivia for you.
Very cool. And I literally just noticed earlier, it's also the 30th anniversary of The Secret of Monkey Island today. So maybe it's listen to that soundtrack and play some Monkey Island, and that's the
I'd be
evening
interested
setup.
to see how that plays out. If you were to play some Monkey Island with some sort of shoegaze coming through the speakers, that would be quite interesting, quite ethereal. It'll be fun. I should try that.
There we go. We're all about new experiences this year, so
Yeah,
maybe that's it.
yeah, this is it.
Well, before you all run off to Spotify to listen to that or to play Secret of Monkey Island, don't forget to follow us on Twitch if you're watching live. If you're watching us on archive on YouTube, then hit subscribe. And if you subscribe on YouTube, there's a little bell icon as well. If you press that, YouTube will tell you when we're going live and uploading things, which is really nice. This has been the Etch Play Weekly live show. Thanks to all my guests today, Ben Joy, Dan Thomas, and Alex from Gamedev Heroes. Make sure you check out all that great stuff, and we will see you next week, same time, same place, Thursday, 4 p.m. Thanks, guys. See ya.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Bye.
You gotta keep waving, Alex.
Yeah, just keep waving forever. Never stop waving. That's the rule.